Willkommen zu Max und die Supply Chain Helden, deinem Unternehmer-Podcast zum Thema Einkauf und Logistik im digitalen Wandel. Gedanken, Erfahrungen und vor allem Erkenntnisse aus dem Bereich Supply Chain Management, ganz ohne Beratermission, einfach verständlich eben aus Unternehmersicht. Ich bin Max Meister und wünsche euch viel Spaß. Willkommen zu einem neuen Crossover-Podcast von Max und die Supply Chain Helden. Heute bin ich im Gespräch mit Tom Gale von Modern Distribution Management. Das ist eine Internetseite, die sich mit allen möglichen Trends rund um den Großhandel in Amerika beschäftigt. Und zwar nicht nur Antriebstechnik und Fluidtechnik, sondern auch alle anderen Branchen wie Klimatechnikhandel und Elektrokomponentenhandel. Ich finde das Gespräch recht interessant, weil man ein bisschen was mitbekommt, A, wie Ludwig Meister tickt, aber auch B, wie ein amerikanischer Handelsprofi, was der Tom Gale definitiv ist, so über den Teich von Amerika nach Europa schaut und was ihn für Themen bewegen. Und ich glaube, das ist durchaus interessant. Ich freue mich wie immer über Feedback. Schreibt mir einfach eine E-Mail an max@supplychainhelden.de. Und wenn ihr einen anderen Gast für einen Podcast hättet, freue ich mich natürlich auch über Tipps. Also, viel Spaß bei der Folge.
Welcome to this edition of Disrupting Distribution, MDM's podcast about all things distribution. My guest this week is Max Meister. He's a CEO of Ludwig Meister, based in Munich, Germany. And Max was a guest of ours in 2018. He spoke at our analytics conference and had a great story about his journey for his third-generation family company from really in terms of bringing both digital and analytics into the company. And we're here today just to learn a little bit more about that story. Welcome, Max.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm happy to make a podcast with you.
And the delightful thing is I'm in Munich today with Max and had a tour of his company and been a very gracious host, and it's been really fascinating to see in person all the things that's taking place in this company. So just to start out, Max, give us a little bit of background about Ludwig Meister and yourself as well, please.
Yeah, so let's start with the company. It's a family-owned company, third generation. I'm driving the business together with my sister and Gerd Meyer. I think, maybe product split is biggest part is power transmission products, and then we have fluidics and tools. Our biggest customer segment is OE customers with maybe more than 60% of our turnover, and the rest is MRO, and a smaller part is distribution to distribution. What we try to do is, as always, we try to make our homework and work on the backwards or back part of the business, backbone, and to get it working to make our customers happy. For me personally, I am a mechanical engineer, but frankly speaking, I'm not using my skills in this way anymore. So today I'm responsible for our IT, logistics, purchasing, workshop, and business development. And I think this is a part that is quite well established in our company. So you will hear this later on maybe.
And how many locations and employees in the company?
In totally, we have about 300 employees and 11 locations. Until today, we have also stock in all the locations and a shop. But the biggest part is our central warehouse here in Dachau, where we pick between 75 and 80% of our turnover.
So as I've learned more about today, your story is a really interesting one in terms of really integrating both digital and analytics from purchasing to the customer in very discrete ways in the company. Can you tell us a little bit about that story?
Actually, we started in 2009 to really digitalize our purchasing department that we founded in 2009. And today, with 5 full-time equivalents, we make almost 50% of our purchasing volume. And the share is growing, and I think we can only do this because of all the tools we made. And I'm very happy that we started in purchasing to really program our own software, because we were able to really adapt it to the needs of a distributor. And we change it almost every week, and it's just small steps. But if you do the steps every week, and this is our goal, then you can reach a great distance over the years. And Later on, we had a big project here in the logistics. The heart of our logistics is the auto store system, and it's consisting of 26 robots picking bins, and the bins are stacked on each other, 24 bins high. And the good thing is that also here we designed the software by ourselves. And to be honest, I had no clue in the beginning about automation, and all the ideas we had for the software were implemented, and then we realized that we have to change many things, and you only see it when you really are working with this kind of software. And this was the second part where we really started with own software development.
One of the things that you showed me today here was around your whole inventory management system and the robotic system. And I think what you told me was that when you first put this into place, you were like the fourth one to implement this in Germany, and now there's many more have implemented it. Talk a little bit about what that system looks like.
Yeah, actually, the general technique is really you have an aluminum grid where the robots drive on top, maybe 5 to 6 meters height. And we have 40,000 bins in stacks with each 24 bins on top of each other. And if the robot needs the lowest one, he has to pick away 23 boxes. Mm-hmm. But statistically, we only have to do this once a day. So even though it takes maybe 8 minutes, it's not a big problem because the system automatically optimizes itself. So we make about 80% of our turnover with the 4 highest layers.
Yeah, and you still have a traditional part of the warehouse, but it's much smaller. It's really for those large parts that can't fit into the cubic area for that.
Yeah, on an average day, we have 79% of our turnover picked out of the AutoStore system. And for us, the greatest achievement was we realized when we started with this project that we have more than 100 customer-specific processes in our logistics. And to be honest, I wasn't aware of that fact. So we started with one process and we integrated all the other processes. So today we have 2 different picking processes for 100 customized wishes. So we do, for example, all the drop shipment with the same process, with the same people, and you cannot make a fault and forget the customized labeling or packaging.
So you started out in purchasing, and then you automated and brought the digital to the logistics part of this. What was the next step for you?
The next step was also a combination between logistics and purchasing, because we started tracking the performance of our suppliers fully automatic in the receiving area. So today I know by second how long I need for checking and counting products from which supplier and if the delivery performance is good or not good. And we save it in the same database where we have all the other data. And the good thing is that we can now make a real supply evaluation. And I think this was a good step to use analytics to really create value for Ludwig Meister in that case.
And you're doing this by a specific product line, correct? Yeah. So you're not just doing it for overall supplier shipments. You're actually doing this line by line.
I know line by line in purchasing or in the receiving area how long it takes us, and I also know by second how long it takes us to pick and pack the product. So, for example, for one of the biggest bearing suppliers of ours, if you buy a bearing at Ludwig Meister, it is in average 60.5 seconds in humans' hands. So this is, I think, a great achievement.
Yeah. Talk a little bit then where you went from there.
Yeah, from then on we said we have done our homework in the background, and now we want to start improve our e-business part. And we have done a great webshop development. And the development of the turnover also in the webshop, I think, is quite good. Could be faster, but I think the development is okay. And we tried also to really improve all the capabilities we have for EDI connections or OCI connections, because this is a big part of our business. And this is what we call e-business at Ludwig Meister. So it's not only the web shop, it's a big part. Mm-hmm. And I think here the infrastructure today is very good because, for example, a EDI connection can be established at Ludwig Meister within 1 week. And it's the same with OCI. So what we are working on at the moment is a configurator for OCI connections so that our customers can do this by themselves. I said, whenever this happens, the first time I will invite the whole team for dinner, but I don't know if it really happens. But the good thing is, if it's that customizable, you can adapt to the customer. And this is important for us because we cannot dictate a market standard.
Then there's the final piece on this, and that's around, and you mentioned a little bit in terms of the customer and really creating a closer relationship with the customer. Talk about the CRM piece of what you built into this.
Yeah, we have developed our own CRM system because our goal was we don't want to have lists with customer data and potential turnover. We want to have specific tasks for inside sales, outside sales, and branch managers. And the idea is that we fully automatic track the buying behavior of our customers, and we combine it with data we create. So, for example, we know for every item we have in Ludwig Meister, and that are 2.5 million different items, we know the lead time because we calculate it fully automatic. And the good thing is when we see, for example, that the lead time for a certain product is increasing, and we have, on the other hand, a customer that is buying this very frequently, we create the task for the inside sales guy to really call this customer, ask these 5 questions, and try to get a contract. And what we see is that all the triggers where we really create value for the customer, not only for Ludwig Meister, but for the customer, they are very successful. And the adoption rate is maybe at 70% at the moment. So 70% of the triggers we calculate and what we analyze, we can add value for the customer. And that's the only question we want to answer.
So what's really interesting to me about this is that, and we talked before, you created a single database essentially that really is driving your whole business. That's an integrated database around product, around customer. And then you built your own software essentially at each part of this to really tap in. So would you recommend other distributors to try that approach? I mean, it goes against the grain of what most distributors do in terms of they'll go out, they'll buy a standard ERP system, business system, and then they'll start adding on other capabilities that they need.
I think the biggest difference is to our approach is the best of breed approach, so that you buy a Salesforce or other SaaS platforms, and they are real specialists in stock planning or in EDI connections and stuff like this. But for us, I don't know if it's working for other distributors, but for Ludwig Meister, the best advantage was that we try to go step by step and not think about big projects and they take 2 years and they will never be implemented. What we do is we try to keep every project as small as possible, because then it's realistic that it will work. And I think this approach is working for almost every company. And for us, step by step, week by week, it worked very well. And the status we have today with one database where all the data is in, from logistics, from purchasing, from e-commerce, from accounting, and from sales, this is a big advantage because it's easier to analyze the data if you have it structured in one database. But this was also a journey. It was not a decision where I painted a perfect picture how we would do it. We arrived at the current state by many small decisions, and we always try to adapt and to really be flexible. And I think this is the biggest point.
Yeah.
So I can recommend to other distributors, try to make projects as small as possible, and don't compare with the big guys. Compare with yourself last week.
Final piece, and we talked about this a little bit before. What's the impact of Amazon business in Germany and for your company specifically?
Until today, I only know of one customer that is really using Amazon Business. I'm quite sure that they are successful and they find a lot of customers. if you look on detail on our customer base, we have some customers that are very vulnerable for Amazon Business. I think standard MRO products where you just need the best price and best availability. But if you look on the customer relations, we have sometimes very deep integrations in the systems and the stock planning. I think there it will be difficult for Amazon. If you look at the market in the US, I think that you have now the situation we will have in 3 years. So they will pick up speed, they will win contracts, and they will increase the pressure on the distributors and on the margins.
But we had a conversation earlier today, and you said to me, I'm less worried today about Amazon Business than I was 3 years ago. Why?
Because we try to sell availability to our customers, meaning solving their problems our customers will have in 1 year. We are not the best in selling one piece as cheap as possible today. We want to have the availability our customers need in 1 year, 1.5 years for specific parts with long lead times. And I think that the strengths we gained over the last couple of years in analytics and also in e-business, combined with our CRM, we can still win some shares at customers we don't even know today. So I don't know if this works out, but I'm quite sure that at least we have done all the homework that is possible to be done.
Mm-hmm. 2 quick questions. What's the next thing in terms of development and moving your company forward?
We have 2 points. First is I want to become better in pricing. So we tested a lot in pricing and we weren't very successful. So this will be one big rock we want to move this year. And the other one is because I learned this on the event I've been to at MDM Analytics last year. We definitely want to improve the education for our employees because the world is so complex. The software tools getting more complex, the products are complex, and sales techniques have to be trained regularly. And I think that it's not enough to do this once a year and hope that everybody is remembering it for 365 days. But I think we have to do it regularly. And these 2 points are the big things we want to get better this year.
Final question, what do you like to do when you're not working here?
Different stuff. So as always, spending time with the family and having fun. And I have another passion, and that's off-road driving. So I'm driving and co-driving a Land Rover Defender. So at the moment, I'm the co-pilot of my wife, and we drive competitions. And this is a great way of team play. And as you know, I'm always complaining that your dates of the conferences are outside of the NBA season, because I would be happy to watch some games. But yeah, for me, really, I like off-road driving, doing stuff with the family, and watching NBA games.
Yeah. How do you do with being a backseat driver? Well, I guess you're front seat. You're navigator.
Yeah. Actually, I really like it because what we do is this is very hardcore off-road. So that means we have 3 winches. And sometimes you have to use 3 winches at the same time. So going front, back, and outside of the top. And you need a good skill in physics and geometry to get everything right. And yeah, for me, it's when I'm successful, in that case with my wife or with other teammates, I really like the feeling of being successful in a team.
That's interesting. In Germany, you call it off-roading. In Colorado, we call it mountain climbing.
Yeah.
Max, thank you so much for taking the time with me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And yeah, it was interesting talking to you. Thanks.